High taxes, open borders, now gun control. The left-wing agenda is full throttle under Joe Biden. Today, the president doing what liberals do best, trying to heavily regulate something it barely understands. Biden saying this isn't really about guns.
Today, we're taking steps to confront not just the gun crisis, but what is actually a public health crisis.
So yesterday we redefined infrastructure. Today, gun control is health care. The border is not a crisis, but guns are now, it would seem. Biden's ignorance on guns continued. Take a listen.
These bills, one, require background checks for anyone purchasing a gun at a gun show or an online sale. Most people don't know it. You walk into a store and you buy a gun, you have a background check. But you go to a gun show, you can buy whatever you want and no background check.
No. By the way, is Washington Post keeping track of all the Biden lies? Because there's been some beauties so far. I doubt anybody's keeping count, though. Wouldn't want to do that, right? You don't have to be a gun expert to know that that statement was a lie. If you go to a gun show and buy a firearm from a federally licensed dealer, you will have to pass a background check, just as if you went to a gun store. Jen Psaki had to do some cartwheels to get out of that statement today. Take a listen.
I mean, is it the president's belief that you do not have to undergo a background check when you are at a gun show?
No, it's not his belief. He believes that background checks should be universal.
Okay. Worst job ever. Press secretary for Joe Biden. Gotta be. Here's more from the president on what are called stabilizing braces.
We want to treat pistols modified with stabilizing braces with the seriousness they deserve. A stabilizing brace shook in a pencil essentially makes that pistol a hell of a lot more accurate and a mini rifle. As a result, it's more lethal.
So better accuracy is a problem now. That's going to be a tough sell to anybody who's ever been hit by a stray bullet, maybe in a drive-by shooting. I don't know. Again, this is coming from the guy who said this about guns to a union worker in Detroit on the campaign trail.
Wait. Take your AR-14s away.
Those AR-14s, you got any of those in your closet? That's a new one. Biden's ignorance would be more funny if he didn't have the tremendous power, of course, that comes with the office of the president. What makes this gun grab so concerning for many Second Amendment advocates is who Biden is appointing to lead the agencies around him, including the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the ATF.
Today, I'm proud to nominate David Chipman to serve as the director of the AFT. David knows the AFT well.
The AFT. Said it twice. I don't know how much more evidence the American people need to see to know that this guy should be in a rocking chair watching golf and not running the country. Again, it would be funny, but he's making a horrible choice in his nomination to run a very important government agency. He's David Chipman right here. Not fit for this job. Here he is last year making fun of first-time gun owners, saying increased gun sales were due to a fear of an apocalypse led by the undead.
And so what I would suggest is for those people who were first-time gun owners, if they did go out and buy a gun, I would secure that gun locked and unloaded and hide it behind the cans of tuna and beef jerky that you've stored in a cabinet. And, only bring that out if the zombies start to appear. And I don't think they are.
Okay, Chipman. Chipman is also in the business of pushing conspiracy theories. Take a look at this post that he made on Reddit last year about the Waco siege, the Branch Davidians back in 1993. Chipman wrote, quote, at Waco, cult members used two .50 caliber Barretts to shoot down two Texas Air National Guard helicopters. Point, it is true, we are fortunate they are not used in crime more often. The victims of drug lords in Mexico are not so lucky. America plays a role in fueling the violence south of the border. So another liberal, whatever, that hates America, of course, and a conspiracy theorist. Of course, no helicopters were shot down during Waco. Just might want to point that out. Biden doesn't even know what day it is, and his ATF choice is making up stories. Of course, the left-wing media lapdogs will do nothing about this. They'll say absolutely nothing about any of this because they like this guy and they want him to run the ATF or the AFT, depending on who you ask. Biden also saying the Justice Department within 60 days will publish model red flag legislation for states. This is on the White House website. Red flag laws allow family members or law enforcement to petition for a court order temporarily barring people in crisis from accessing firearms if they present a danger to themselves or others. Finally, a solution that would stop gun violence, a red flag law. This is why I love liberals so much, because they know how to solve real problems. We should definitely make every state have red flag laws just like they have in Colorado. Oh, wait. Remember that grocery store shooting in Boulder a few weeks ago? That psychotic Syrian refugee who everybody knew was crazy, everybody knew he was unbalanced, and then his family saw him playing with a rifle, and nobody did anything, and then he took the rifle and shot up the grocery store? Oh, yeah. What else you got, Biden? How about an assault weapons ban?
Got it done once. We should also ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines in this country. For that 10 years we had it done, the number of mass shootings actually went down.
There we go, an assault weapons ban. We know that works. We've done it before. The liberals crushing it again. However, according to a 2013 study from the Journal of Internal Medicine, it might not work so well. Quote, it was also found that assault weapons bans did not significantly affect murder rates at the state level. Just so you're aware, we see the highest rate of gun crimes in the cities in this country that have the strictest gun control laws. Say that over and over in your head. This was published earlier in the month by the Chicago Tribune. Chicago sees another spike in shootings, with most killings in first 3 months of year since 2017. They've got some strict gun control laws in Chicago. Biden only wishes we had them that strict across the country, but would it do anything? No. Liberals don't seem to understand one thing about all the rules, all the regulations that they love so much. Criminals don't care. You can outlaw anything you want. Criminals don't care. And then there was Biden's most outrageous comment of the day. The comment which had hashtag shall not be infringed trending on Twitter this afternoon. Take a listen.
They're phony arguments suggesting that these are Second Amendment rights at stake from what we're talking about. But no amendment to the Constitution is absolute.
No amendment to the Constitution is absolute. Of course, we know liberals hate freedom. They don't really like the Constitution at all. We've said it before. They think Americans are dumb, helpless fools that need to be watched constantly like a 3-year-old with ADD. They love to keep us all in boxes, feed us, vaccinate us, grow us like houseplants. I said it a few weeks ago. All the left really wants is your labor. They want you to work and then go sit in your box and shut up. They envy China. They love the idea of all that control over people. In response to Biden's last comment, states are already starting to take action. Tennessee's Governor Bill Lee tweeted this today. I signed constitutional carry today because it shouldn't be hard for law-abiding Tennesseans to exercise their 2A rights. Thank you, members of the General Assembly and NRA, for helping to get this done.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.